So I've had the opportunity to watch Tenet and sit on it for a bit, and I have some thoughts on the movie that I think people will find interesting enough to watch this video. So here we go. So Tenet was kind of marketed as the movie that's going to save cinemas, and I think it's clear at this point that people are not quite ready yet to return to the theaters. I think this movie, no problem, in a day and age prior to the pandemic, would have been able to make $1 billion, as all the aspects of movies that have been super successful in the past, and explores kind of new ideas and new trends, especially in Hollywood blockbuster filmmaking. This film, for me, reached kind of the upper level and may have even hit the roof of what a Hollywood blockbuster can do with the complexity of narratives. This movie makes Inception look like a cakewalk, like a superhero origin film, and people found Inception itself to be complicated. But this film is a completely other level above that. We're going 5 or 6 layers down, people. I watched this film in a completely empty theater with my girlfriend. It was just us two on a Sunday matinee screening, and we were bouncing ideas off of each other as to what was happening. Usually I don't like talking during movies, but in this case, having that help there was indispensable for both of us. This film is a lot like a video game in the way that it introduces a skill at the beginning of the film and then builds on it towards the end of the film where your mind is just blown. To me, I think the trailers gave way too much away, and I think you can kind of piece together the plot points of the film just by the trailers. So if you haven't seen the trailers yet, I'd still avoid watching them till you've seen the movie, as it exposes the way the mechanics of the film, of things and objects being able to go back in time, gets built upon. One thing that absolutely did not help the film was the sound mixing. So Nolan has kind of been on this trend ever since The Dark Knight Rises of creating a more subjective sound, which kind of places the audience as part of the film in the way that external noises is sometimes overpower the dialogue of the film. So in Interstellar, a lot of the dialogue is muffled compared to the spaceship sounds, which is fine because spaceships are really loud. And in Dunkirk, the dialogue is almost non-existent, and this film continues on that trend, but I think is to the overall detriment of the audience's experience with the film. There is one scene in particular that I'm thinking about at a absolutely critical moment of the film. You can tell this is that everything's been building up to this, and at the midway point, and there's a lot at stake. Like, people can get hurt. This one person's about to get real hurt. This one character that is as close to an emotional core of this film that you get is about to get really hurt, and it all hinges on this one conversation between two characters in between 2 rooms and with a pane of glass in the middle. And needless to say, I did not understand a single word that was being said. Maybe I got the gist of it, but I definitely didn't understand why the outcome of it was the way that it was. And maybe that's on me, but I think the overall consensus amongst viewers is that the sound mix is just too hard to understand. And in a film where that's absolutely critical to understanding the plot, it's kind of a shame. Another aspect of the plot that confused me was at the end of the film, there's a rule clearly set in place that something has to happen by a certain time or else our main characters don't succeed. and they fail at that, but turns out everything's okay. And I don't exactly understand why. Maybe I'll understand at a second viewing. My girlfriend didn't understand why either. The film makes it seem like an absolute critical thing that the characters have to follow, but it's just kind of thrown away at the end. So I think where the strength of Tenet's plot lies is in the overall filmmaking and construction of it. I think it's what Tom Gunning would call the cinema of attractions. It's about the thrill of just being in the theater, taking in what's on screen, and being along for the ride. The visuals are absolutely stunning, which, you know, it's a Chris Nolan film. You're going to expect that. Cinematography by Hoyte van Hoytema. This was the first time in a long time that I've been like, how are these visuals even possible? It was absolutely mind-blowing. And really what kept me connected to what was going on screen. As a kind of development in Chris Nolan's approach to filmmaking, since I think Dunkirk, the emotional role of the protagonist is being lessened and lessened. And I think the name of the protagonist is a big indicator of that. I won't spoil it for you, but I think what Nolan's trying to do is create a style of filmmaking that is about the filmmaking itself and not so much about the emotional development of characters or emotional investment of the audience, because the audience is invested because of the filmmaking and the visuals, and I think that's enough for him. So it's been a critique of the film that it's not emotionally grounded enough, but I don't think that's exactly what he's trying to do in the first place. The characters are compelling insofar as they're pawns in the greater chess game that Nolan is playing with the film itself, which will be interesting to see where he takes it into the future. This kind of stoic, pure filmmaking approach to films, or if he's going to continue with that, or if he's going to go back to the more protagonist-based traditional aspects of cinema, kind of like with his film Memento and the Dark Knight films and stuff like that, which he's proven himself in that area. But when he's pushing against the boundaries of what people consider traditional blockbuster Hollywood filmmaking, I think kind of rubs people the wrong way. I would, in a heartbeat, though, take a remixed sound version of Tenet to be able to understand what's going on. Yeah, in a heartbeat. So yeah, that's some thoughts for the movie Tenet. Honestly, as great as filmmaking can be, it's not worth risking your life over, and it's not worth risking other people's lives over. And who knows, maybe we'll see a re-release of the film later on when the world's in a bit of a better shape. So yeah, that's about it. If you want to see me talk about other films that have come out or are coming out, or thoughts on the industry, leave it down in the comment section if any film in particular that you want me to talk about. And we'll see where this channel goes from here. So thanks for watching.